Hello everybody and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. Today's snapshot is 15W44A, and in this one some absolutely amazing things have been added to the snapshot. But first of all, we're going to go down underground and have a look at the chests that spawn inside of these dungeons, because there's been some slight rebalancing done to these. So you can see that's what it looks like in that chest, that's what it looks like in this one. So what I decided to do was to create a world where loads and loads of dungeons would spawn, and then fly around and just investigate what the changes were like. After a while, it occurred to me it'd be a good idea to pick up the chests and bring them back, because of course you can control middle click them and keep their inventories. And so here are some of the dungeons that I found. You can see it looks pretty familiar, or similar even to before, and here this chest is a good example. It feels like the loot inside of these chests is distributed across the chest a little bit more, if that makes sense. Apart from that, it kind of feels the same. However, I did manage to pick up some epic loot. In one of the first chests that I had a look at, I found an Efficiency 5 book and a Thorns 2 one as well, and that was really lucky. Unfortunately, didn't get that luck again. I must have visited about 30 to 40 different dungeons and didn't find any books anywhere near as good as that. One of the other things I did found was a notch apple inside one of the chests, and activator rails I found inside a minecart chest in an abandoned mineshaft. So these ones have been affected too, and you can see here they now include rails and they've sort of been spread out a little bit. So some cool little changes and rebalancing going on there. Let's move on to the really good stuff now. We need to pop into game mode 1. And this thing right here is the end crystal. Aha, from the end, that's right. We can now get these in survival, and this is going to be amazing, believe me. So the skeleton riders that were added a few snapshots back, the ones that spawn in a group of 4 that you can get in survival in thunderstorms, well, these guys, they drop the end crystal, and you just so happen to need 4 of them to respawn the ender dragon. So that's the way you're going to be able to do that. Now, one thing I want to point out immediately is that you'll get this every single time. So if I kill this guy here, you can see we got one. If I kill the next guy, we're going to get one as well. The skeleton riders, though, they do not... Well, this guy's walking around in a circle. They don't drop these. So if I just kill the rider instead of the horse, you'll see he drops absolutely nothing. They come from the horses, and they also make a new sound when they die as well. So let's listen closely. There you go. That's the new sound that plays when they die. That might not actually be new, but I noticed it for the first time here. Anyway, this item, the end crystal, can be placed down on obsidian or bedrock, and you can do that in the overworld. Now, this item, for all of you map makers as well, also has a new tag which is called show bottom. So you can see this one right here doesn't have the little frame at the bottom like you would find in the end, and that's a custom thing that can be done. Now, we've managed to get these in the overworld. That means you can put them in your base for aesthetic reasons. They'll also blow up as well and destroy everything, so watch out for that, of course. So guess where we are? We're in the end, of course, and I'm going to show you how we can respawn the ender dragon. Now, one thing I want to point out first of all is look at the way the night vision affects the shading of the ender dragon and things in the distance. Also, those guys appear to be aggressive at the ender dragon. What we're going to do is kill it like this, and then all of that effect is going to disappear, which is quite unexpected. Could be a bug, I don't know. Let's chuck down these ender crystals, because this is the way that you're going to summon the ender dragon back in. Just put 4 of them around like so, and the last one will start an activation ritual. So let's take a step back here and watch this thing. It's going to then start to point at each of the different pylons. There you go. And it blows up whatever's there. Now, at first I was thinking, is it trying to put the crystal back because I haven't already blown it up, and therefore it blows it all up? I'm not sure, because they actually reappear when this starts. So I will do a test and find out. And one more to go, and then bam, back comes the night vision tint on everything. And somewhere around here the ender dragon should have been respawned. There it is, probably right at the middle here where I wasn't looking. Right, so I'm going to knock out some of these things and just see if it's any different when we do this and these things have already been destroyed. Okay, these 2 have already been destroyed. The answer is it just makes the explosion there. It also brings back the cages, and then when the ender dragon is spawned in, they all reappear. And the ender dragon, it seems to be a bit random, but it also always seems to be high up as well, as they've killed it a couple of times now and spawned it back in. So it would appear that it just spawns somewhere up high in the sky. Can you hear that sound? It is the sound of bunnies. I've turned up my volume all the way. Hopefully you'll hear this in the video. Yes, a sort of slightly squeaky, ruffling sound. That is the sound that the bunnies now have when they move around. I'm rudely interrupting my previous clip because it didn't sound loud enough to me. So hopefully this is good enough. This is as loud as I can make it for the video. And I like it. It's pretty cool. And these guys are still adorable. Let's fly away from that noise racket over there. Got a couple more things to show you. This next one I think is really smart change. So when you give yourself an effect using a command, you can tell it the duration, the strength, and then at the end here you can say true or false to the particle effects. Now when you do true and you're saying you don't want particle effects, it also doesn't display anything up here in the heads up. Now if we were to put it as false, it would be the equivalent of drinking a regular potion in game. So if we drink a speed potion, it's going to appear up there. If we then do this with false, so we're saying nope, we don't mind the particles, it's also going to appear up there. So that's a really smart change that they've made. And this last one I want to show you is to do with the mending enchantment. It's been fixed. It's now going to work on shields, which it didn't do before. So you can put mending on your shield. It doesn't make it shiny. You can see you got it right there. And when we collect this XP, it repairs the shield. So back to golden apples. These have been the subject of much debate. I'm going to eat this one here. If I remember, the change that's been made this time is that you get your 2 hearts from absorption. You only get 4 seconds of regeneration 2. And the notch apple still nerfed, unfortunately, only regeneration 2 on this one. So what exactly there's changed, not 100% sure because it keeps changing all the time. One other thing to mention here is with the food. If you remember when we covered food in a previous snapshot, your hunger bar, which is over on this side, could be all the way down at the bottom and you can actually eat a little bit and then regenerate your health. That has been fixed. That was a bug. Your hunger bar has to be full for you to regenerate your health. And one last thing, one final thing to mention is to do with those skeleton horses. On the Mojang blog, it does say that currently they drop the ender crystals, which means that maybe that will get changed. But anyway, that's it from me, this snapshot update video. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It's always appreciated. And that's it. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.